Right, Ask Golf Guru channel here, Mark Crosswood, answering your golf questions, not just chasing that silly YouTube algorithm. It doesn't really help any golfers, but it's good for clicks, isn't it? I've got a question here from Christian. He is asking, do you think the competitive format of LIV is tailored to individual performance enough to warrant world ranking points for players? If yes, how so? If no, what should they change? This is a good question, and the reason I'm doing this video, to be fair, is not that I have many of the answers here. It's more I would like to bring this to an audience, and I would like in the comments to hear your answers. Now, before I hear your answers, I want to hear logical-based answers around the format. If we can try and keep the emotional hate or love out of the comment. If we can keep the comments to relating to how the tournament stands at the minute. So 54 holes, so over 3 days compared to 72. No cut, no way of getting in that field. It's a closed field, closed events. There's no qualifying score for those events. These kind of ideas, rather than just that you hate LIV and you hate where the money's coming from. Like that, I get that's a different one. I'm more interested in the world ranking points and your ideas towards what should get world ranking points and not. I'm not brilliantly versed in this. It's not something I've really looked at until LIV kind of made us post and ask the questions about world ranking points. Is something that we've just kind of hoped is being run quite on itself and works. So what's interesting for me, the ideas around world ranking points. So the questions I've got that I need more answers to understand this more. First one is the board that decide the world ranking points consists of DP World Tour chairman, people who are in control of majors, and also, amongst other people, the PGA Tour commissioner. So people making the decision on who gets the world ranking points, so obviously LIV being the enemy to at least two of those parties, possibly more, depending on where any of this goes, I've got invested interest in the decision, and that to me I think is really interesting. So that's something I would like your opinion on as well. What does that mean to you? Is that good? Is it bad? Is it just obvious that's how it is? It's been like that for ages, so it might just work. Let me know. That confuses me personally, that they can decide the fate of world ranking points to a group of players playing on a tour that's blatantly, we could argue, even though it didn't intentionally want to, arguably attacking the dominance of at least one of those two tours that I've mentioned. The next point that's up for discussion, which I again find really interesting, is it seems that the DP World Tour on certain events and a little bit across the board is now falling in line and slightly behind the Corn Ferry Tour, which then leads it on for those statements that I think Steve Pelly, is it Steve Pelly or Mr. Pelly, the DP World Tour commissioner, one, it's not commissioner, is it, in the DP World Tour, but you know, the guy who runs the DP World Tour says, can we just stop calling it a feeder tour for the US, for the PGA Tour? It feels a little bit that way when you look at some of the world ranking points. They've definitely gone a little bit on the funny side with around some events, which I would presume some of the players are not so keen towards. So when it comes to world ranking points, it feels a little bit to me, and again, this isn't a statement, it's a feel-based idea, and I'm happily going to be corrected in the comments from people who understand it more than I do. It feels a little bit centric towards the PGA Tour. I understand LIV's issues with world ranking points, which I think are perfectly fair. No qualifying score, closed fields. And even though I believe the players on LIV are great players, they're world class, some of the world's best. Cam Smith, DJ's proving that he's still got amazing abilities to play this game, even though the press will just want to tell you he's a has-been, and so along with others, Westwood's still showing amazing forms. I get it. There's no qualifications to get on it. There's no cut. There's no different field each week. It's a small number of players. So to give that world ranking points based on its format, I kind of understand why they're going to struggle to get world ranking points, or it looks like they might struggle to get world ranking points. If we're going to do it just on the quality of fields, well, the quality of fields, oh God, like LIV's quality of field is high. It's good quality. It's rich with some of the world's best players. So again, it's maybe possibly, rather than that they're abusing the system, which I don't think they are. The system is just there in place and has been and was set up before LIV, And the system is built around what we know as golf: open tournaments, cuts, 72 holes. That's just what we know. Now that golf in certain tours, so certainly the LIV Tour, is changing, trying to change its product, does the world ranking points need to work that into the way it works with the points? I don't know. Again, that's another question and something we might see move or not. Because the biggest problem with this for all of us golf fans, anyone who enjoys watching golf, if we start getting major championships that haven't got the best players in the world because they don't get the world ranking points to get top 50 in order to get into some of the majors. Now, are those majors even majors anymore is the next question. Not my opinion. It's a question before people, because when you talk about this subject, people are just, if you're not just anti 100% LIV, you're with LIV apparently. And that's like, that's got to stop, and it will do over time. These are just good, honest questions that I would like better answers to. Ones I can't answer myself. Over time's going to let us answer them. Trying to understand how it all settles and where everyone wants to play will help us to understand these. But for me personally, having any major championships that didn't have DJ, didn't have Cam Smith, don't have Lee Westwood playing the way he's playing at the minute, definitely top 50 player in the world, and amongst many other names, in effect, that's going to devalue the majors, and the majors are relying on world ranking points, as well as then obviously Cam and DJ have got exemptions through, past major wins, but they run out over time in some of the events. Obviously, the Masters doesn't if you win it, but again, the Masters is an invite-only event, and it built its history on some very questionable ideas around, Anyway, we'll move on for that, shall we? So, again, what do you think? I think it's a really good question and a fair question. I don't know the answer. I don't know. At the moment, it feels PGA Tour centric. It feels like the DP World Tour is weakening, and that saddens me as a European fan, as a UK golfer who has grown up watching the European Tour turning into DP World Tour. Let me know what you think. Thanks for the question. If you've got more questions you want me to chuck back at you and not answer, or other ones that I can answer, golf swing related ones, equipment related ones, other ideas around golf courses, post them in the comments and I'll try and do videos that answer your questions.